Yo, what's up? This is your boy Alex. What's up, YouTube Nation? Today is Monday afternoon. Now, I'm still going to take my 5 to 6 day vacation from the internet, but before I go, I gotta clear the tension in the air. I talked to my producers behind the scene, and they watch my videos very closely, and they wanted me to make a YouTube public apology to a certain female individual. Not that I have not said anything wrong or done anything wrong, but there's this girl that I work with at my job, and I already said thank you to her in a YouTube video, but just to be on the safe side, I want to say I apologize if I accidentally singled you out on video. It was not intentionally. It wasn't intentionally on purpose. It's just that for the past 4 to 6 months of doing the lockdown, aka the accident, I make a lot of YouTube videos, and I watch all my videos, and I'm 100% very aware of what I say good and bad in my videos, and I always strive for excellence and to be the best of the best. So I haven't said anything wrong or done anything wrong. Everything I said in that video is 100% true. You told the other girls to watch my videos, and I say thank you, and I appreciate that. Now, I'm not trying to get nothing out of it. In fact, I didn't even know for the past 2 to 3 months that I was working at my new job that anybody was watching my videos, because I had a huge female audience. I want to say a huge female audience, but it was almost 15-20% female audience in the analytics on YouTube. And I said I needed the 5 to 6 days rest because I make so many YouTube videos that I don't give no one a chance to watch the videos that I made from 4 to 6 months ago. So I want to make a public apology and say I'm sorry if you thought I was pointing you out, singling you out. It was in 100% good intentions. So I hope you accept the apology. I understand if you don't accept the apology. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. But sometimes my producers want me to apologize even though I didn't say anything wrong. Because I spoke with them for about 15-20 minutes and say, just to be on the safe side, what if you go back to work and you got to see this person face to face, eye to eye, and they upset with you that you mentioned them in the video without their permission. So even though I'm okay making videos and you're okay making videos, someone else may not be okay with me making videos. So it wasn't to offend you, it was to say thank you. When I made that YouTube video called Sex Game, think all black, white, Latino, Asian, BBW golf women, I actually meant what I said. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. So if anyone else is offended, black women, white women, Latino women, I apologize if I offended you. I try my best to calm down on the profanity language. I try to say words properly to the best of my ability. And if you give me the opportunity to show you that I'm just here to make good YouTube videos and try to make positive out of this situation, then that's great. That's fantastic. So I made a video for you women today, because in the next 5 to 6 days, you probably won't be getting a YouTube video for quite a while, because I want to take a 5 to 6 day break. I want to give everyone a chance to watch basketball and football on television, or a chance to watch someone else's YouTube videos, so I don't come off as irritating and annoying. Some women, understand that I like filmmaking. My passion's filmmaking. I like television and film in Hollywood. And some women will be like, yeah, you can make 2 or 3 videos, but don't be making 7, 8, 9, 10 videos in 1 month and then drive everybody crazy. So that's why I wanted the 5 to 6 day break. Some women like when I make videos about women, and then some women like, can you please take a break? Can you please give us a break? Can you give us a breather and take a chill pill? So it's not to offend any woman. So if you're a black woman, a white woman, or a Latino woman, or an Asian woman, and you felt that I offended you in that thank you video, then I want to say I'm sorry, I apologize. Now, I didn't say anything wrong or done anything wrong, but I'm a man of my conviction. And sometimes it's like what my producer said, just because you didn't say or you didn't do anything to offend someone, that doesn't mean someone else who watch your videos is not offended. So for the rest of the year, we're going to try to calm down on the foul language. We're going to try to make videos that are just about positive stuff. And we're going to try to switch up the content every 2 to 3 months. I always change up my content so that way it doesn't get stale or old or you get tired of it. So I want to apologize to my female audience that was watching my YouTube videos for the last 4 to 6 months. So hopefully no black women, white women, or Latino women, or Asian women are offended by this video. This video is to portray women in a positive light. I say that in a lot of my videos, and I want to apologize to the person that I work with at my job. It wasn't to single you out. It wasn't to pick on you. It was to say thank you for watching my YouTube videos and continue to watch my YouTube videos. I understand if you watch my videos, and I understand if you don't watch my videos, I'm not going to take it personal. I don't expect everybody to watch my videos 1 week later, 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, or 2 months later. I understand that. You know, my internet was messed up last week. Got to get the internet fixed. The cell phone's old, you know, so I got to get a new cell phone, new picture, new sound, new quality. And it was not y'all fault. It was my fault for not making myself 100% clear that I wanted to take a break for 5 to 6 days. And it wasn't to offend any woman, okay? So it's not to offend black women, white women, Latino. I guess basically what you can say is that I'm asking for a second chance. The reason why my producer told me to apologize is because my producer had to explain it to me from a producer's point of view. What if you become rich and famous? You know, and all of a sudden it's 10, 15 years later, and then somebody says, oh, that guy makes YouTube videos, then I can get into a lot of trouble. So basically what I'm saying is accept my apology. I'm sorry if I offended any woman. It wasn't my intentions to point you out or single you out. I was just saying thank you. Thank you for watching my YouTube videos. And I have already made a new YouTube channel. But just because I said I made a new YouTube channel, and just because I'm making this video, that don't mean everybody just rushes back and watch the video just because I say it. You know, it might take 5 to 6 days. It might take 2 to 3 months. I'm a very patient person. I understand if it takes 4 or 6 months of 2021 to re-earn your trust and your respect. Now, I haven't done anything wrong, but my producer wants me to apologize because my producer, like, you're on YouTube, you're in front of millions and millions and millions of people around the world, and no one's not going to tolerate you saying something and then there's no consequence. So I'm apologizing. He wants to be on the safe side. He wants me to be on the safe side. He wants you to be on the safe side. It's a win-win situation. So that's why I'm spending 8 minutes to apologize. Now, some of you women might say I ain't said nothing or done nothing wrong, but there's an old saying. There's always somebody watching. You may not think there's nobody watching. There's someone watching. Doesn't matter where, they're always watching. So I apologize to that co-worker. It was in good intentions, you know. So thank you for watching my YouTube videos. Thank you for telling other women to watch my videos. The last 2 to 3 months, I had no clue, no idea that women were even watching my videos in the first place. So that's why I said thank you. And if I have to earn your respect and your trust all over again, I understand that too. All right, let's get on with the video presentation. The video is going to be called Sex Game, the Top 9 Romantic Comedies with Action in Television and Film. Now, I apologize that that's a long name of a title. You do understand that we're having a reward ceremony come up on September 20th. That is just talking about television and film. So I decided, you know, I want to make that video before September 20th. Now, this was a very hard list to make. I spent almost 4 hours making this list. This was not an easy list to make. As you know, the first video is for women. The second video is for men. So, fellas, men, understand the very first video on this channel is for women, okay? Black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. This video is for the women that like my YouTube videos, and this also is for the women that may be offended by what I said in the thank you video. I'm not asking for nothing. I'm not trying to get nothing from nobody. I'm not trying to seek nothing or ask for nothing. You know, just wanted to say thank you and pay my respects, that's all. This was a very tough list to make. So I apologize if y'all like the list or if y'all don't like the list. But these are the ones that showcase romance. And if anything, women love romantic stories. When you're at college, when you're at work, when you have lunch or dinner, you always talk about romantic stories. And this video is to show my gratitude towards women. Without women, we would not exist. You know, my mother has like over 150 books, and in a way, you can kind of say this is not just a tribute to my mother, this is a tribute to all women, black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, BBW women, tall, short, black, white, young or old, women in general. Okay? If you're in another country and you're a woman, this video is for you. You're in the United States, this woman's for you. Doesn't matter if you watch my videos or if you don't watch my videos. Doesn't matter if you like my videos or you hate and despise my videos. This video is for women. And I don't want no man coming on my channel telling me I'm a punk, I'm a mangina, and I'm a simp, because what did I just said in the video? Part 1 is for women. Part 2 is for the men. Okay? I always make one video for women. Sometimes I make 2 or 3 videos for women. Sometimes I make 4 or 5 videos for men. So don't be losing your stuff if this one's for women. I already made another list that's just for men, okay? This is from a woman's perspective on romantic comedies and romance. I already have one for black men and black women, but this video is for women. So if you're not a black woman, if you're not a white woman, a sexy Latino woman, an Asian woman, BBW woman, if you're not a golf woman, you should not be watching this video. Now, if you watch the video, it better be because you got a wife or a girlfriend. I'll know because I'll be checking the analytics later in the week. All right, coming in at number 9 is Desperate Housewives. Now, this was a very popular television show in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now, this was kind of like Universal Pictures' response to, I think, HBO's Sex in the City. Now, women, please do not beat me up with your purse. Please don't pepper spray me, but I'm not a huge fan of Sex in the City. I never really could get into the television show. Like, I tried to watch the first 2 seasons of the television show, and I just found it boring. Like, it took like almost a whole hour for me to understand the story plot. But there was one show on primetime television that I was in college that I watched every single year, and that was Desperate Housewives. Because you got, Eva Longoria on that show. You had Terry Hatcher. She was once on The Adventures of Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. She was on that television show. And then you had that one actress that was on Meryl's Place in the 1990s. I used to always sneak up at 9, 10 o'clock at night and watch those soap opera television shows. And my mom would, my mom has some very good hearing, and my mom would get her belt out and whoop my ass because I was, watching adult television shows that were made for mature adult audiences. I didn't want to watch no cartoons. I wanted to watch what adults watched. And my mom was like, oh, no, you're not watching that. You're not even old enough to watch that. Used to get my ass whooped repeatedly for watching mature stuff. Like, seriously. Now, this television show ran for 8 seasons. I watched all 8 seasons. I watched every single episode, reruns. And in 2008 or in 2009, I went to Universal Studios, and I actually got to be on the television set of Desperate Housewives. That little fictional world where they call it Mysterio Lane. I actually got to be on the set, not once, but twice. And that's why I want to break into the film industry. I apologize. We got somebody in the neighborhood that's on a motorbike driving back and forth. So I apologize if you hear the sound of the motorbike in the background. I apologize. The very next time I do a video that's devoted for women and in tribute to my mother, we won't be in the backyard. We'll actually be at a filming location where you can see me in an actual filming location. But I actually liked the Desperate Housewives. It was a very well-produced television show, very well-written, very well-directed, very well-produced television show. And I liked that all the characters, like, it deals with real life situations. What happens if you get married for 5, 10, 15 years? What happens if you get divorced 15 years later? It shows the consequences of men and women, good and bad. It shows our actions as human beings. We all flawed human beings. We all make mistakes. And this television shows a good way to understand love in general. So that's what I loved about the television show. It actually explains what happens when you don't make the right decisions and what type of consequences you get for not making the right decisions based on, love, lust, what happens when you lie to your partner in a relationship or in a marriage, and what type of fallout you get from that. And what happens when your kids find out that you lied and you committed adultery. So that's what I loved about the television show Desperate Housewives. It helps me. It actually helped me understand being married, which I'm not married, obviously, but it helped me understand my mom and dad because they was married for 16 years and then they got divorced. And when I was young and immature, I couldn't understand that. And television shows like Desperate Housewives kind of actually helped me understand what happens if you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years and all of a sudden mommy and daddy gets divorced and you don't know what's going on. So that show actually helped me a lot in my adult life. So when I started to, pursue women, I had a better understanding. Television show actually does have a life lessons to learn. Coming in at number 8 is 50 Shades of Grey tied with Nick Tuck. Now, this is taboo. You do understand that, right? This is very, very taboo. It's a very strong, sensitive subject to talk about here on YouTube. A lot of YouTube channels get what they call age restricted because it's supposed to be for mature audience. That means if you're not 18, if you're not 21, if you're not 25, if you're not 30 or 45, you shouldn't be watching the video in the first place. But my point is, 50 Shades of Grey got like 4 books for almost 20 years. And it got made into 3 live feature films by what else? Universal Pictures. Now, unfortunately, the movies fail to explain what DBDMS is. It fails to explain it. Everybody has sexual fantasies. Men have sexual fantasies. Women have sexual fantasies. When you're at work, when you're paying your bills, when you're doing your taxes, when you're at lunch, when you're at dinner, when you're with your wife or girlfriend, you're having a sexual fantasy. And a lot of times these movies are like a nice way of escapism to escape from reality and fantasize. What if I was a rich multi-billionaire or a rich multi-millionaire? Or what if I was a professional football player or a basketball player or a rock star? And you vision yourself as the main character who's rich and famous. You got it all. And here comes this one girl named Anastasia, and you want to have one of the greatest stories in history, which the movies fail to explore the character's backstory completely. I'm not saying it's all of Universal Pictures' fault. No movie's perfect. I mean, they gave us 3 movies. They almost gave us a 4th film. So the movies, I saw the first one. I saw the second one because I wanted to understand what all the rage was. If you were a teenager at that time, it was Twilight. If you were an adult, it was 50 Shades of Grey. And I was just trying to understand what all the talk and all the rage was. My mom had bought all the books. And the reason why I went to go watch the movies is because when my mom first bought the first book, my mom was like, let me know when the mailman comes. I was like, why? Because I got this book I want to read. And when I you're not supposed to read your mom's mail, but when she got the book, I was like, 50 Shades of Grey? Like, what is this? And my mom was like, that's taboo stuff. So I had to research. On the other hand, we have a television show that ran for 6 seasons called Nick Tuck. That's also dealing with life choices and consequences as men and as women. Now, Nick Tuck, on the other hand, gets 60 to maybe 75, maybe 80% of what 50 Shades of Grey actually got wrong. It actually almost explores all of the sexual fantasies that men and women go to sleep at night dreaming and fantasizing about, good or bad. Like, you got some men that got negative thoughts in their head, and there's some women, I'm not saying all women, so please don't Run me over with your car, ladies. Don't be hit me with the pepper spray. I'm talking about the difference between the movies and the television shows, both trying to explain taboo subjects. It's like one of those things that you do not talk about when you're at lunch or at dinner with your parents or grandparents. Is that one thing that you can't talk about at work or at school because you don't know how people are going to react when you talk about it. But women have sexual fantasies, men have sexual fantasies. And these movies and the television show Nick Tuck ran for 6 seasons. It gets 60 to 75, maybe 80% of what 50 Shades of Grey got wrong. Now, it don't matter if you watch the movies or the television shows, it does focuses on um, taboo subjects. Like, it's that stuff that you don't talk about. Like, it be like almost 20 years later before you confessed to your best friend at work or at your new job that you done something, and they go, I can't believe you did that. You know, that type of reaction. And some people actually want to explore that world and want to know what it is about that world that they keep going to. And then that's when you see a lot of our rich, famous celebrities, you know, they suffer from what they call post sex addictions, where they're so addicted 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year that it actually destroys their whole entire relationship with their friends and family. Like, it ruins their marriage. A lot of actors, a lot of professional football players, baseball players, basketball players have had their relationships and their marriage get flushed down the toilet because their fantasies were too strong and too powerful that they lost everything. They money, they fame, they friends, they family, because this taboo subject, it controls the presence of everything. And then you have to go get personal help. But again, the movies and the television show both kind of show us an insight of what happens when a fantasy turns into a living nightmare. Like, just because something from a movie or a television show looks cool and nice, it does not translate very well into real life. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It does not translate very well. And again, it shows the consequences of our actions as men and women. And it doesn't matter who you are, rich or famous or average. This shows what happens when you ask for something. There are consequences for wanting something that is taboo, you know. And history has taught us one thing. It's better to just, sometimes it's just better not to fantasize about certain stuff that can get you hurt or someone else. Coming in at number 7 is American Pie. Now, this is for every guy who and every girl who have always gotten themselves into trouble. Remember, I said I used to sneak up late at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night and watch adult movies, adult television shows, and my mom would come with the belt and I would get my ass whooped. Well, American Pie was one of those movies that I watched where I got my ass spanked because my mom had ordered a movie off of cable, and it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I was tired of my friends laughing and making fun of me because they stopped watching wrestling and they were into trying to watch adult stuff, and me trying to be a follower and not a leader. I watched American Pie. I watched the first 45 minutes of the movie, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my mom got the belt out and spanked me because my mom's like, you don't understand what that movie's about. You don't understand the content of what the screenwriter wrote for that movie to be intended. Yes, it was about a guy that was sexually frustrated. Yes, it was about a guy who got made fun of for being socially awkward. So from that standpoint, it was good to watch the movie. But what my mom was trying to explain to me is that that movie is if you're in a relationship and you're dating a girl and the problem that you see in the movie actually happens to you. That's what the movie was really about. It wasn't until I got like 24, 25, 26 that I would watch all the American Pie movies and actually understand what it means to be in an actual relationship with a girl. My mom was like, you have to actually be in a relationship to watch that movie. You just can't watch that movie just to be a pervert. You have to actually watch it to understand what it really represents. So that's what that movie was about. Alright, coming in at number 6 is One Life to Live. Now, One Life to Live is another television show where I would actually watch, and this one I watched by accident because I was a badass. I was a badass in school. Got into a lot of fights. Like I literally got into a lot of fights, and one day I got grounded. When you get grounded, they take your PlayStation from you, your Xbox from you, and I wanted to watch TV. So for punishment, my mom would make me wash the dishes for 3 hours, take the trash out, clean the water pool, take the trash out, go help the patients with their medicine and their food, make their bed up, get the vacuum cleaner out, and make me clean the upstairs and the downstairs of the living room for punishment for getting into a bunch of fights. When I was in school, I used to think I was the Rock. So I would try to give somebody the rock bottom or the people's eyebrow to be a badass because I thought it was cool, and I got suspended for 3 days for fighting. Plus, I used martial arts, which, I socked somebody in the face when I was, young, dumb, and stupid. So for punishment, my mom would make me do all of that for 3 hours and wouldn't let me watch no television. And when I got to watch television, just by luck of chance, One Life to Live came on TV. Now, this television show came on, I think, the late 70s, early 1980s, and this television show is, like, still on. Like, this television show, 21 seasons. Most television shows, from what I understand, they might last 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 seasons, 8, probably 10. This television show's got 21 seasons, and it has by far the highest ratings, and it's known as a soap opera. That's like a nice way of saying this television show is if you are in a relationship or if you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years, this television show is like, this is what you do in a relationship and this is what you don't do in a relationship. This is what you do when you're married. This is what you don't do when you're not married. This is the consequences when you commit infidelity. And it had mystery, it had crime in there, it had drama, it had good compelling acting, good storytelling. I always watch the plots because it was good versus bad. You got your good guys, your bad guys, your supporting cast. You have all of that in the video. I mean, the television show. And I watched it. Now, I only watched it for like maybe 5 years. And then I got tired of the television show. And then I was off to, watching something else. But when I did watch it for those 5 years, I watched it because I wanted to know what you do when you get into a relationship with a woman. So, yeah, One Life to Live has been on for like 21 years, 21 seasons. Like, it's on the same level as Law and Order. Like, Law and Order is the longest running television show. This has been on for as long as Law and Order. Law and Order, 20 plus seasons. This got 21 seasons. Coming in at number 5 is Troy. Now, Troy is actually a Greek mythology because you got the Greek hero Achilles, not Hercules, Achilles, who was in the Spartan army. And this was like maybe 30, 40 years after the events of 300 and 300 Rise of an Empire. Now, this whole entire war that lasted for 10 years was because there was a warrior by the name of Hector, and his baby brother liked to have a reputation for basically messing with another man's wife, which is a big no-no, because in today's time period, that man can, find out where you live, find out where you work, and beat your ass if you're messing with his wife or his girlfriend. That's like committing adultery. And this whole entire movie, the story plot was the boy's in love with a girl, but the girl's already married to Agamemnon's big brother, and Brad Pitt plays the badass warrior Achilles who goes and fights for the Spartan army. And Agamemnon is the older king of the Spartan army who wants to take over Troy because he's power hungry. He's narcissistic. And Hector was the big brother who had to fight Achilles in the movie, and the little brother is the one who stole another man's wife and caused a war that lasted for 10 years. So when you see the movie Troy, yeah, that's a movie that actually has romance in it. It has drama, crime, and a compelling acting in it. Like, you see the actors bring those characters to life your very eyes. You know, I like Brad Pitt when he gives out those motivational speeches. You know, immortality, take it, it's yours. So it is a war movie, but it's also a love story at the same exact time, because what caused the war to last for 10 years? A man who decided to mess around with another man's wife, and that's what that whole story plot center around upon. Coming in at number 4 is Days of Our Lives. Now, I don't know what to tell you about this television. This to me, this is by far the longest running television show in history. I don't think any show comes any close to it. Law and Order might come in at number 2, number 3. This show's been on since the late 60s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. It's 2020, and it's been on for 55 seasons. And again, this television show has everything: romance, action, drama, mystery, crime, good versus bad. And it shows the humanity of men and how they make consequences that affects them for the rest of their life. Like, this show's been on for so long that every actor and actress that you possibly can name off from the 1970s, even though this show came in the late 50s, early 60s, have been on this television show. A lot of the actors that are now in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, anyone who is in the entertainment industry has guest starred on this television show. Some of your favorite actors from that time period have popped up on that show. Professional athletes that have played basketball, football, baseball, singers, R&B singers, have gotten small little roles and parts where they play the bad guys and they get onto the television show. I think Stephen A. Smith might have popped up on here as a villain. It either might be One Life to Live or Days of Life, but he's popped up on that show twice. A lot of people that you don't think that's on this show, and that's how you get work as an actor. That's how you get work as an actress in Hollywood. That's how it lands you into the big movie roles in television and film. Coming in at number 3 is Romeo and Juliet, which I think might be by far the biggest and greatest romantic tragedy of all times. It's romance because it's, what would you do if they told you you could never fall in love with one girl and they take that girl away from you? What would you do? Would you fight to the ends of the earth? Would you move heaven and earth, as they say, to get with this girl? And if you're a girl, what would you do if they told you you could never get the man of your dreams? And this movie kind of shows the humanity of love, not just the consequences of men and women with love and lust, but it shows the consequences of the humanity and the act of love. I mean, this movie, they remade this movie so many times. You might say which version I'm talking about. The one with Leonardo DiCaprio, because it's about 15, maybe 17, close to 20 years old. Yes, it also was a musical, and this movie draws great comparisons to other musicals and other romantic tragedies.